All right, I love it. So guys, market's heating up. You guys are all seeing it, and I'm glad that all of you guys showed up today because we went over a couple of weeks ago what to do to get your buyers to get going because the market was supporting it, right? It was a great window to get your buyers under contract, get them out there looking for properties. And we came up with a lot of campaigns to help you kind of stir up that business. As the market gets better, it's going to force you to start servicing the business that you have, and it can make you take a step back from production and actually working on the entirety of your business and get you wrapped up in just those couple of transactions ahead of you. We want to make sure that that's not the case and that we take full advantage of what's going on in the marketplace now. So today it's all about systems, right? Text, whatever, everything that you need in order to get your business jump started now. Drip campaigns, text campaigns, all of that good stuff. And MK is going to give us a market update before we start. So I'm going to hold it over, pass it over to MK.
Awesome. I don't know if you guys are feeling this by raising a hand. Anybody feeling the heat up right now? Anybody feeling the heat up? Guys, this is absolutely bananas. So this past week, applications are absolutely screaming in. Now, there's a few things that we talked about, and there's something that I wanted to go over too before we got started. So the very first thing is if we're looking at the $400,000 and $500,000 price range, absolutely on fire. Why is that? Why is that, guys? Talk about it. Raise a hand. Anybody just jump in.
It's the median price range.
That's FHA, affordable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So first-time home buyers, that's what I heard right here. First-time home buyers. How many have first-time home buyers in the market right now? Anybody have any pre-approved? Now, the one thing about first-time home buyers is this is their first rodeo. You ever heard the saying, it's not my first rodeo?
Yeah.
This is their first rodeo. It's going to be challenging. They're going to ask questions 10 different times, right? It's going to be hard. But I found that there's a few things that you can do right now to set yourself up for the win. And it's going to be education and a sense of urgency, okay? So first-time home buyers, you have to, the very first thing you do is explain what they can expect, okay? What can you expect in this transaction, right? And we also need to figure out what their form of communication is, right? So Brittany does a great job when she's working with these buyers of figuring out, do they want to text or do they want a phone call? Because there's some people that only want a phone call. There's some people that only want an email, right? We need to meet them where they're at, okay? So the very first thing you do is you figure out what or how they want to communicate, okay? And then educate and train them on the game plan. So is everybody going over a strategy as far as do you need seller credit or not? Please, by raise of hand, shake your head, do something. So what I have found is there's consistently something like, okay, I'm going to tell you that I have a 650 credit score right now. And then when you pull credit, it's really a 599. Does anybody have that? I'm assuming everybody had that at some point, right? So the very first thing that we do, we're doing these consultations, right? So I'm looking at Dan. I'm like, okay, Dan, they're a 650 credit score. No, I'm sorry. Here's a better example that we've seen before. They're a 621 credit score and they need a 620 to qualify for down payment assistance, right? That means that if they do anything, they will not qualify, right? So then I need to make sure Dan's on the same page and he understands that if they do anything, we are no longer pre-approved, right? We need to be on the same page with that. The next thing about that is, one, Dan, I need you to know we are using down payment assistance, right? But also we need to make sure that we get a seller credit because they don't have money for closing costs, right? And they do have $1,000 source for their inspection or anything like that that they need to pay for on the side. Now Dan has all the tools. He can go out there and negotiate. How many of us have been in a position where we knew none of that? We wrote up an offer and all of a sudden that we need to go back and negotiate for closing costs. Have we all been there? Have we all been there? Right? We need to make sure that we're on the same page because this is going to be very competitive. Who here is using BombBomb? Anybody? Anybody using BombBomb? Kind of. I need you guys to utilize BombBomb. I'm going to tell you why. Right now, when you go ahead and you submit an offer, you need to make sure that it's personal. You need to set yourself apart. So you need to have some kind of video showing who you are, you're a professional, and you know what you're doing, okay? When we're sending out pre-approvals, we just got one under contract this weekend. It was a multiple offer situation. I sent a video with it introducing myself, my team. I've worked with the real estate agent multiple times. We've closed many deals together. And here's what you can expect. You can expect us to close on time. You're going to get a weekly update every single week, right? And this is going to be a smooth and easy transaction that will close on time, right? You say all these things. You make sure that it goes out to that listing agent on your offer and they know a face, right? You're not just a Bank of America approval. You're not a Rocket Mortgage approval, right? You're a complete package with your lending team. So you need to make sure that we're having that face-to-face with that video, okay? So if you haven't used BombBomb, it's a great tidbit. I want to leave you with that. It works. Okay.
It's such a small thing, MK, that provides such a big result. And if you think about all the work that we put in for deals, all the work that we spend, reaching out to our buyers, touring properties with our buyers, trying to get these properties, putting together our offers, it's like we want to do all of the little things right to make sure that all of that hard work is actually rewarded and that it doesn't fall through, and those small things right there that might seem like small things they go very far, and so if we have those systems where we're protecting the business that we create, man, we should be doing everything and anything that we can to make sure that we get competitive with what we're doing. So I like that.
Yeah, and everything at that level, right? We talk about constantly, how are you setting yourself apart, MK, right? Like how many are actually spending the time to do that, to make it personal, to go that extra step? Very few.
Yeah, and that's what the listing agent called me personally and say, hey, listen, out of all the offers that we got, you sent this right away when the offer came over. I can tell you're a professional. I can tell that you're invested in getting this deal done. We're gonna put you at the top in negotiating. We're able to get the deal done. So little things like that, guys, it takes a little bit of extra effort. But if you're already gonna go through all the effort of spending your weekend to go show the people multiple houses, write up this nice clean offer, why wouldn't you just spend another 5 minutes and send a video with it, right? To show that you are a professional.
And $10 extra if you can spell BombBomb, MK, and put it in the chat.
And FYI, guys, if you didn't know this, BombBomb's actually built in and conjoined KV Core. It feeds into your KV Core, so you can do all your videos directly from there. Which everyone, that's even going to be some, our purpose today, if you guys remember, it was probably more like a month or two ago, Cooley, and we were giving you guys very marketing specific tactical things you could be saying and doing on the buyer side. Looking at what the market's doing now, we want to do it exactly on the seller side because that's where things are starting to churn. And some of these conversations are going to be around video, guys. And when you see that response, you're seeing how few, right? All MK had to do was bring that up, and you see how small that response is of who's setting themselves apart and who's actually putting video out there. So we are going to be talking about that today.
Yeah.
And so go ahead, MK.
The last thing I wanted to say about this, guys, it is the sense of urgency. And I cannot stress this enough. And I know Chad and Michelle are going to talk about this. As the market is heating up, the people that are waiting on the sidelines, unfortunately, are going to become not buyers. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, will become not buyers. So there's buyers and there's not buyers. And they will become not buyers because they do not have the funds. And as this market heats up, as the rates come down, they will push themselves into a position where they cannot negotiate and they cannot get any kind of funds to help them with those closing costs. So right now, we are the only lending team, right, that can do down payment assistance and the buy down. I need you guys to take advantage of this because the folks that are talking to me about payment, when I hear this objection, okay, I have a way to overcome this objection. You're going to use this buy down program. When you refinance, the money goes back to you, okay? There should be no other objection after that because you're telling me that you want a lower payment. I'm giving you an option of a lower payment. We should be buying a home right now, okay? So I need you guys to take advantage of that. Down payment assistance and the buy down together.
I encourage all of you guys who have buyers who are still on the fence or are concerned about their payments, maybe with some other lenders, to get him on the phone with MK where he can actually do some selling. I know that we all have great lender partners that we work with. And I know that most lenders aren't actually great salespeople, right? And all sales is putting things into perspective for people. So it's not like, again, trying to get you into a Cadillac or anything, but it's really important. So if you have people who who are just kind of stagnant with other lenders, send them over to MK and let MK go through the sales process and create some solutions for them that might not be created now, right? Because your job is an advocate for them, not necessarily just because it's with that lender, it has to be that way, right? Let them know what their options are.
Chad, I think that's the biggest thing I wanted to go over today was that sense of urgency and that price point option. So if you guys have questions, I'm going to put my information in the email, but you got to reach out to me so we can convert these guys now.
Okay, now I know. Now I want to talk about what we came here to talk about, which is the seller's market being back Big time. And you guys are all feeling it. Can you unmute your microphones and just tell me if you're feeling that in your marketplace as well?
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very
Absolutely.
And like I said, like your business is going to heat up organically right now. And my concern for everybody is that we're going to get so stuck in the servicing that we forget what our job is to go out there and grow. Now, for those of you guys who don't watch my videos on Instagram, you should. For those of you guys who aren't on the Breakfast Club, you should be on there. But one of the things that I've been kind of banging the drum on is I'm following the majority of our agents and other agents on Instagram and things like that. And what I'm not seeing is a lot of people making videos and talking about the market being back for our sellers, right? I'm not seeing that from anybody, you know? And again, it's not our people, it's just as an industry. We forget what our job is, and our job is to go out there when we know something, when we see an advantage, and we're experts in the marketplace, to go out there and put that message out in front of as many people as possible. Again, so that they know what's going on, because we can't expect our clients to know what we know. They don't have their finger to the pulse of the real estate market. All they can see is what they've seen for the past couple of months. And for your sellers, the past couple of months, for them, in their eyes, hasn't been the greatest position possible, right? You guys would all agree with me on that?
Yes.
So today I want to talk about exactly how we're going to get that message out there, because all of us, rather than getting busy with the things that we've got going on in this little uptick, which is what most agents are doing, we need to just take a small step back and strategize on how we're going to get this message out to as many people as possible. So let's focus on what we know over the course of the past 12 months. For those of you guys who are prospecting agents, or those of you guys who have a database of potential people looking to sell, what has their biggest objection been over the course of the past 12 months?
They don't want to.
No
Waiting for the
buyers.
market to heat up.
No buyers, fear, stagnation, right? All of those things. So we've got to figure out, number one, where our data points are, right? And so we know expired listings over the course of the past 12 to 18 months, all of those people are a target market, right? Would you guys all agree with me? Because we know that all of them wanted to sell. We know that a lot of them didn't sell. And we know that out of those people, a majority are still wanting to sell, but it's just not the right time, right? And I think the market is kind of telling us that the time is what?
Right now.
Right now. Okay. So instead of going after the low hanging fruit, guys, let's focus on the whole picture. Let's implement some systems, right? Because what are the systems that we have, right? We have our voices. We have our phone calls that we can make every day. So the question for everybody on here is, do I know what I'm going to be saying when I do call? Okay. And if you don't have that right now, think about that and write that down as a must for me, right? I need to make sure that I know what to say when I'm calling people. All right. The second thing is we've got to make sure that we're taking advantage of our technology. Now, what do we have within our technology that can help get us out in front of as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time? Anybody have any ideas on that?
Social media.
Social media? Yep.
Media,
Maybe
video,
for-
voicemail drop, mass texting.
And I love it when all of you guys participate, and I understand nobody, because it just gives me the energy that, yes, I'm here and I care about what you're saying. So that's great. Yeah. So we've got our technology. We've got our Instagram, our social media. We've got our text messages. We've got our email drip campaigns. We've got our voice drops, our voicemail drops. We have all of these different tools and resources. And what do we need behind it? We need systems. So we're going to put together a package of things today that's going to give you what you need to go out there and execute today. A huge campaign to just kick up as much dust as possible so that you're playing Pac-Man while everybody else is just servicing those one or two deals that just now came to life, right? Because how many of you guys are here to be that agent who just does one or two deals? No, we're all here to grow, right? Okay, so Michelle, let's get into it and let's start from the top. But I hope that all of us are on the same page just when it comes to the mindset, right? Let's not get caught up. Let's take a step back. Let's make a plan and let's focus on the execution of that plan. Michelle?
Yeah, our job is to communicate right now, right, with what's going on and the opportunity for them. So
Mass communicate,
right? They don't see what we've been seeing for the last 3 weeks, right? That's our job immediately. So the first thing when you think about, everyone kind of shared there, what's the objection, or what's the consumer thinking, right? What's the public thinking right now? And it's all the things we talked about, right? gonna wait till spring, holding off because the market's not good, right? On and on and on, it's all the same thing. Okay, so Cooley, the first thing we want to talk about is the approach. And I know we work on some of this on the Breakfast Club, right? But an exact script for these guys on what do they need to be saying to every seller lead, seller on the fence, potential seller they talk to, every person in their database, what they need to be sharing out there. What is the actual script, a very simple script everyone can follow, they should be articulating or
So
communicating?
this isn't, and trust me, guys, this isn't all about scripting today and what to say on the phone, right? But this is something very important that we've been working on the Breakfast Club, which is having your strong testimonials, right? Those needle movers, because oftentimes it's not just telling people that the market is great right now, right? One of the best things that you can do anytime, anywhere is make it real, right? You hear me talk a lot about making something real for people. The market is good or the market is heating up doesn't really mean anything to anybody, right? But when you say something like, hey, we just took 2 expired listings, sold them in 3 days for 10K above asking price, and this is starting to be the trend with all of my other agent colleagues as well, right? That's a testimonial. Hey, we just took 3 properties active just like yours, sold them in 2 days, whatever it is, right? That strong testimonial that you have or that you can borrow from somebody else is going to be that making it real that people need. So just a basic script here, guys. For those of you guys who know their motivation already, I would encourage you guys to lead with that. Michelle is going to post this, okay? So if you don't mind me just role playing really quickly and then we'll move on. Jason Schaefer, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Jason. This is Chad Cooley with EXP. I know that you were considering selling a couple of months ago so that you can move to Cincinnati and be closer to those grandkids. And I wanted to make sure that that's still the case.
Oh yeah. Hey, Chad. No, it's not. I mean, the market stinks and we're holding off till the springtime. I mean, we think it'll sell better then.
Okay, great, Jason. So you've decided that you're definitely going to sell. It just has to be the right time. Now, have you been paying attention to what's been going on in the market, Jason?
Just seems to be horrible, I guess.
Jason, what we're seeing are properties going on the market, getting multiple offers within their first week and selling above asking price. Jason, we took a property just like yours off the market, was an expired listing, and we had multiple offers within 11 days and sold it for $20,000 above asking price. Now, Jason, your whole goal when you do decide to sell is to make sure it's the right time, right?
Yeah, no, timing and money,
Right, 100%. It's got to make financial sense. So before you make any decisions at all, Jason, let's get together tomorrow at 6. Let's go over exactly what's going on in the marketplace now so that you can make the best financial decision when the time is right for you. Now, I've got time tomorrow at 6 or would 7 work better for you?
6 is perfect. Yeah.
So to keep it more basic, guys, it's just confirming the motivation. I know your goal was to get to North Carolina to be close to your grandkids. If you don't have the motivation, you can X that out and just say, hey, I know that you were looking to get this property sold for the most amount of money. And I wanted to make sure that that's still the case. The second question is, have you been paying attention to what's been going on in the marketplace? The reason why we ask that is because we want them to give us a positive or we want them to give us their insecurities, right? So that we know, yeah, I've been paying attention. It's not very good. Yeah, I want you to say those things because I want you to know, I want to know where your mind is at, right? I want to know what you're thinking so I can put whatever I need to, I can inject whatever I need to into that like negativity and make it a positive thing, right? And it opens me up for that testimonial. All right. So one of the great things to say is, hey, there's been a massive change in the market. I just had a seller receive 31 offers, sold for over 100K asking, and that second set and just had a second seller receive 19 offers. We are starting to see massive amounts of showings and offers as a trend. This means the market has shifted dramatically into the seller's favor. What would be a good time? Oh shit, I'm reading the text. Sorry, I messed that up. I'll get to that in a minute, but you guys see the point, right? Yeah, that's a testimonial. So how many of you guys feel like you'd have a problem saying that? I mean, just that basic, hey, I know that you were looking to sell so you could X. Have you been paying attention to what's been going on in the market? Pretty easy conversation, right? And that's designed for like, just, hey, tell me how to sell you type thing, right? Tell me what I need to give you in order for us to get to the meeting. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Michelle?
So then the next one to give you guys that, I'll copy in here too as well is, okay, how can I articulate a similar message, but via a text, right? Text is probably the simplest, via text, email, same thing, but what's the text script to go out? Where now it's not a dialogue, is what can I say that's short to the point, get across what I'm trying to. So Cooley, go ahead with that.
Yeah. And so first, before we go over to the dialogue, everybody right now should write down, if they don't know how already to do a massive text campaign, leveraging KV Core, all of you guys need to make that a today thing that I need to understand, right? I need to know how to leverage this today so that I can send out a mass text, because I'm going to give you a script, which I just screwed up a minute ago, that's actually going to work. And it's designed to get some responses and start that conversation. Okay. So that way you don't have to just, how's it going? Text, right? You want a text that's going to have some impact, that's going to create some intrigue, right? And that's going to ask them a question at the end, right? To make sure that you get a response, if that makes sense. So Michelle's going to print this out, but here's the text. It's very simple. Seller, whoever that seller is, there's been a massive change to the market. I just had a seller receive 31 offers, sold for 100K over asking. I just had a second seller receive 19 offers. We are starting to see massive amounts of showings and offers as a trend. This means the market has dramatically shifted to a seller's favor. What is a good time for us to talk? When is a good time for us to talk? I guess it would be when, Michelle. I wrote what? When would be a good time for us to talk? Now, guys, what do you notice about that text?
That's exciting news.
You don't ask them if they want to talk, you say when.
Text with intention.
So Michelle just posted that actual script, okay? You can copy, paste that, put that into your KV Core text machine and just absolutely let it go. And you're gonna be shocked about how many responses you get from that, because it demonstrates, number one, there's an alert, right? There's been a massive shift in the marketplace, right? That grabs people's attention, doesn't it? Right? Well, what are you talking about here? I'm a homeowner. I want to know what that means, right? You've got your testimonial. That's a true testimonial of what's going on with some agents in your marketplace. That, right? That ropes them in. Okay. And then there's also that call for action, which is, when is a good time for us to talk? Right? And it's okay. Some people might give you objections, right? Well, we're still not ready yet, but that starts the conversation, doesn't it? Does what it's designed to do. Okay. Your main objection is to get on the phone or get in front of them, if that makes sense. Now, does anybody have a problem with this? Does anybody see this as something that they can actually execute on? Because you can definitely take that text and change the language a little bit. Say that doesn't fit your personality type. That's okay, right? Switch it up a little bit, make it yours, but make sure that it's got that attention grabber, that it's got a testimonial and a call to action. Okay. Those are the three things that you need in every text message. Now, if you guys did this to all of the people who have been on the fence and sent them out this text message, how many responses do you think that you would get?
Plenty.
If it was 10% of the people that you sent it to, would that be good or bad?
That would be great.
That'd be great. If it was 20%, if it was 30%, that would be phenomenal, right? And so again, there's different ways to communicate with people. This is just one of them. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, so we've written down that we need to make sure that we know how to actually send out those texts, and we've got a script for it. So there's no reason why we can't do that. Michelle?
Yeah, and I was going to say, the obvious for those, because we talk about this all the time, is you can simply, for those that are maybe, a little bit, if you don't have as much activity, or how do I say this? Let's say you're new to the business, right? How do I articulate this? You simply say we, right? This is why we talk about the testimonials constantly and what the others in your team, in your group, in your organization, in your office are doing. What are those stories that you should be articulating out, right? And it's the same exact script, same exact information and dialogue, just say we. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then the third layer to this, Cooley, for me, which is I'm seeing as a massive lack with this group, and then again across the industry, we've been feeling this for at least 3 weeks now, and I'm not seeing a bunch of video from this, and I mostly follow real estate agents, right, across the marketplace and in our local markets here, is how do we and this is to me probably one of the most effective ways to communicate this urgency and this script of what's going on in the window right now, right, is simply by video. Has anyone been doing
And
this?
show of hands really quickly, out of the people that we have on this call, how many of you guys have made an exciting social media post about the return of the market, about multiple offers, about properties selling above asking price? How many have actually made a video excited about that? Anybody? You see that?
Oh, yeah.
And you
John.
you shouldn't feel bad about yourselves, guys, for that at all. Because again, I follow a lot of real estate agents outside of our group. And aside from like big coaches in the industry, you would never know that anything's changed in our marketplace because nobody's talking about it. They're too busy posting about their listing. They're too busy, right, making a dance video that doesn't mean shit to anybody, right? And all those things are good, but you have an opportunity right now to provide some transparency for the people who have been demotivated and demoralized over the course of the past 12 months. Do you guys think that would be a great message to share today?
Yes, absolutely.
So the
Okay.
the video script, guys, I want to touch on two things here. It's the same exact script as the text script, except for it's you videoing yourself for 28 seconds, right? It's the same exact script. It's the same exact emphasis on the change and urgency of the market, right? It's the same exact testimonial story share, right? With a call to action, right? With a call for engagement. Everyone should be doing this, and we'll touch on this some more. And I want to highlight this because like Gagan, even related to your question, right? Well, I've got all these buyers. We are in a very sensitive urgency window right now, guys, on the seller side and the buyer side. Can anyone tell me why? Why is there a huge sense of urgency right now on both sides? Like, we're emphasizing the seller side right now because a couple months ago we were emphasizing the buyer side, right? Why is it such a specific window right now for both sides?
Because as it gets closer to spring, we're going to have more buyers and you're going to really get into that serious bidding war issue that's going to double what it is right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's both, guys. I think it's right, for the obvious reasons of the seller, it's shifting into the seller's favor pretty heavily right now, right? And it's at the very early swing of that. Okay, so now we want to get our sellers back in the game before everyone tries to go list their house in the spring, right? It's this window of urgency. Then you think about what are the buyers dealing with, Gagan, right? They just went from having, this is why the urgency was so heavy these last few months that we've been working with everyone on every single day, every single week, to now the market is starting to shift a little bit more, right? And what's going to happen fast forward another 30 days from now, another 60 days from now for the buyers?
Yeah.
Is it going to get better or easier or harder for the buyers?
Harder. So much
harder.
The window of urgency is right now. And this is what I want you guys to do. I don't know if MK's still on here, right? But in the text, in the video, you guys need to take that story of what's available to get them into homes and take advantage of what is changing right now. And you need to be sending that message out and doing that video to go onto your pool.
And again, it doesn't have to be crafty. You don't have to have like a little Pokemon in your video. You don't have to do a pretty little dance, right? It's just start your video off with, hey guys, testimonial, right? Here's what I'm seeing in the marketplace. Now, what does that mean for my sellers? It means that the market is back. And if you've considered selling over the course of the past 12 months and you've been worried about what you're going to be able to get, or if there are any buyers out there, this is what we're seeing. For my buyers out there who definitely have decided that they want to be homeowners, you have a window right now where you can get in and not have to pay $400,000 above asking price, right? Or you have a window of opportunity where you have to do something now. Otherwise, you won't be able to compete, right? And then have that call to action, DM me, whatever it is. But it can be just a video, a phone to the face video. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic or entertaining, right? But it's breaking news. Boop, 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 breaking news. CNN breaking news, right? What's going on in the market? This is what we do for a living. We shouldn't be ashamed or shy about sharing that message. Michelle?
Crystal, go ahead. I saw your hand go up.
All I wanted to say is I've had the best responses when I do video if it's almost like I'm urgent saying I want to get this to you. So like if I'm sitting in my car and I'm like, hey, I want to get this message to you right now. If I'm polished and everything, it comes across too corporate and too much like I'm sending a mass text out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you're kind of almost like, hey, you know what, I was thinking about you today. and I really wanted to get this to you. So just from my experience, if you aren't super polished, it actually comes across more authentic and more personal to the other people.
It's the
100%.
genuineness, Crystal, and I've seen your videos. You're absolutely right. It's like you're in your car and you just put up your phone and you're like, hey guys, I want to talk to you about this, right? And it makes it authentic and real and less of a marketing tool and more of, hey guys, you really need to know what's going on, you know? And that's really the aim too, guys. The aim isn't to put together a great sales video. It's to let the people who follow you, the people who trust you, let them know what's going on in the marketplace, because without you, the professional guys, they don't know, right? They don't know yet. Okay. And that's what we're changing today.
And just so you guys know, this is marketing, right? This is part of your job. This is when we're talking about, you got to get the video out there. You got to get the touches out there. This is part of your processes and systems that you guys should be jumping on doing. And so the video engagement is a big thing. It's the easiest you can do to get the highest level of engagement. And then exactly what Crystal said, keeping it genuine, simple. There should be a video you're putting out there also, you know, personally to your databases and to your clients.
Amber McDonald does a really good job of this too, guys. If you guys want to follow her, Rally Point on Instagram, she's one of our agents, and she does these authentic, like, let's just chat real quick videos. And she gets so many responses from sellers and buyers, guys, that she literally has to have somebody else go into her messages and Instagram to make sure that she's not leaving any business on the table. You know what I mean? And so this is a powerful tool, and I want the commitment from everybody, whether you're comfortable with social media or not. It's not really the point, right? It doesn't have to be a production. I want everybody to make sure that they make a video by tomorrow, okay? And I want you guys to tag me in that video because I want to see it happen. Either tag me in the video or use hashtag co-founders group so that we can see it, because we can also talk to you about how we can make these things better, but be transparent, right? Invite in the accountability so that you get this done. Now, is there anybody on here who will not do this? Honestly. That's music to my ears, right? And I follow all of you guys on Instagram just about, so I'm going to be able to see it, and I'm excited to see it. Okay. So Michelle, what else we got?
I think the next thing, you know, it's you know, there's not like all these different scenarios. I think it's pretty obvious on a general scope what everyone's, the mindset of the consumer is and kind of what's happening, right? So I guess my question would be to the group. I know some of my thoughts or questions I've got is, you know, how else what are some additional things, one-liners, phrases, coolly I can say to create urgency, or even from the group, what are some scenarios or questions or objections that you guys have been getting? And we can kind of give you those handlers or what to say in addition to what we've shared already.
So one great thing to say to provide perspective, right? Because your sellers are going to have the exact opposite problem now, right? Because before they were waiting for the market to get hot, right? And now what's that thing that we all do? It's like when we're playing blackjack and we're up $3,000, right? We're winning and we're like, well, let's see how far we can take this, right? Your sellers develop that same attitude, right? Which is, well, man, if the market's great right now, what happened? Well, I mean, I want to get deeper into spring and see what can really happen. How many of you guys have dealt with that? You will deal with that, right? So you've got to get really good at creating urgency for your sellers too, right? And that's why it's important to talk about that window, right? Hey, you know, the great news is that the market is up right now, right? There are multiple offers. Houses are going for above asking price, and this is all great. Brittany, we don't know what will happen if they decide to raise interest rates again. Now, Britt, do you know what would happen if they raised interest rates again and all the sellers realized that it was a hot market and put their property on the market? Do you know what that would do, Brittany? She's giving somebody a dirty look.
I'm sorry, I have a crazy dog in the background.
Just say what? Just say what?
No, I don't. What?
So, Brittany, higher interest rates, if they raise the interest rates, could mean a dent to the buyer pool, which means less buyers. And if everybody finds out that the market is hot, which most of them don't right now, it will mean a lot more competition, and we could lose that very advantage. And that's exactly why we need to get together, Brittany. Right? Do you guys see how that works? There's that takeaway, because people don't make decisions based off of what they could get. They make decisions typically based on what they could lose, right?
Yeah, the fear of loss.
Right. So that's the conversation that we have to have with our sellers, right? There's got to be some urgency if they've got the attitude of, well, let's wait and see what happens, because realistically, guys, that's the truth, is If feds raise interest rate and go, holy crap, we've been trying to contain this market. We've been trying to contain the real estate market and it's going on fire regardless. And it's what we're doing is not working. So let's go ahead and raise the interest rates again, right? There's a possibility of that happening, right? What we know is what we know, which is what's going on in the market right now. And so for our sellers, it's got to be that window of opportunity, and the same thing for our buyers. Michelle.
Yeah. Is this helpful for you guys? Is everyone taking screenshots or writing down notes?
Yeah.
We're trying to
I
give you
imagine
guys
you're
as
gonna
much-
see a lot of videos right after this.
That's what we're hoping. Make sure you guys tag us. Okay.
Yeah.
We're trying to give you guys as like tactical, applicable things everyone could turn around and put into action today. Right.
Right. And so there's a couple of things that I want everybody to do on this call. And now that we've kind of got through the meat and potatoes, nobody has questions about the text messages. That text messages, you can use the same text in your emails, right? So it's basically a couple of different prongs. Number one, your text campaign. Number two, your email campaign. And number three, your social media campaign. Number four, obviously the muscle, right? It's making the phone calls, because some people aren't going to respond to your email. Some people are going to see your text and not respond and say, and when they see you calling, go, oh yeah, I remember that text. I got to take this phone call, right? So all of these things working in tandem matter. Okay. So when it comes to the sales call part, guys, I want everybody to make sure that they identify the people who they're marketing to. Okay. Which is the expireds. Okay. You don't have to call through all the expireds, but you've got the data already. You should be sending them emails and text, right? Letting them know what's going on in the market, taking a look at your pipeline and your tracking sheets over the course of the past 12 months. And then you'll realize, oh my goodness, look how many people told me they're going to wait. Look how many times I got the spring objection over the course of the past 12 months, right? Those are prime candidates for your text campaigns, your email campaigns, and your I need to call these people, right? So we've got to get our data together before we decide to just move forward in our business. Because if we don't have our data, then we don't have a plan. Then we're just working on what's in front of us. And we got a whole lot behind us that needs our help now.
And I want to add a whole nother little segment to this, guys, with, you know, the takeaways you're working with right now is got to go from the mindset, you know, we're giving you ammunition to go out there, reach out to everybody, right? New contacts, your existing database, all your leads, all that fun stuff, right? But all the stuff we've been working with you on, right? It's to work with you on building the mindset of running a business and running systems and running processes. Does that make sense? It's not just I do a deal and I'm done. How many of you guys have heard us talk about over and over and over again, how to maximize building a return and creating activity off of the deals you're already doing? How many of you guys have heard us talking about that constantly, right? And so this is what I think about when I consider you're running a business. You have a process in play every time you list houses, every time you sell a home, right? What are your processes to create more business off of that? So what I want you guys to all write down, right? And again, this is being a marketer. This is part of your job, right? You've got a seller ready to go. You've got a buyer ready to go. What are you doing to maximize your return to create more business off of that? Okay. So I want you guys to write down these three things, right? And it's the same scenario on both sides, right? So whether you've got a new listing or whatever's happening, right? Write down these 5 different points. You should be one, posting it out there, right? Making it known on social media across all platforms, right? That you've got a new property on the market. You should be writing, number 2, right? You can write letters into neighborhoods. Okay. Easy form of marketing. Number 3, we can be door knocking, right? Number 4, we can be calling. Number 5, we can be emailing into our databases. Number 6, we could be asking for referrals. Okay. So that was 6 points, right? I'm giving you guys 6 specific points of layers of activity. I'm going to specify on these in a second, right? That will create you more activity on the activity of the deal you're already doing, right? The client you already have. Does that make sense to everyone? Posting on social media. And how do you do that effectively, right? Writing a letter into the neighborhood. How do you do that effectively, right? When you door knock, it's what do I say, which is the stuff we practice. When I make the call, it's what do I say, which is the stuff that we practice, right? What's the message I should send out to my database, right? And we always are talking about, when you're talking to anybody, you should always be asking for referral as well, right? So you got to think about this. Think about what we're currently dealing with, right? Story after story after story that you guys are seeing our agents post in the chats, right? That you guys are dealing with either yourself personally, Crystal, right? Or that you're hearing from the fellow agents in this group, right? You're hearing those stories of property on, this, now it's under contract in 4 days. We had 31, offers. We had 17 offers. I had 41 people through my open house on Sunday, right? You guys are all hearing these. You guys are all seeing these, whether it's yourself personally or someone else. So you need to take those and leverage them.
So huge. Guys, when you have an open house, really quickly, sorry to interrupt, Michelle. When you guys have an open house and you guys have 40 people show up to an open house, what does that mean?
40 potential buyers.
40 buyers?
When you guys hear that a property went under contract and had 32 offers in a neighborhood, what does that mean to you?
You gotta farm that neighborhood.
Means
Right.
you know.
Find
It
another one to
means-
sell.
It means you've got ton of demand, right? And these times when the market are when these times the market are up, right? We've got to make sure that our action is up too. So number one, if I'm hearing that a house got 42 offers, right? I know that there are 41 other people who are looking to move into that neighborhood. And I'm going to go out and get aggressive and say, you know what, I'm going to door knock this area and I'm going to leverage that. Hey, I know that house over there on Main Street. It just went under contract in a couple of days and it had 42 offers. Seller, do you know what that means? It means there are 41 other people who are looking to competitively buy a property in this neighborhood. Have you thought about buying or selling in the past, in the next 6 months? Right? I'm going to have that conversation. I'm going to generate circle prospecting campaigns. Charlene, I know that you had 30 something people at your open house. Somebody else told me that they had 40 something people at their open house. And what that tells me as an agent is, holy shit, there are 40 people who wouldn't mind living in this neighborhood. Right? And so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get really aggressive with that neighborhood. And I'm going to try to turn that one deal into multiple deals, right? And it's the two things that agents don't do anymore. Why? Because they rely on technology, which is going out there and knocking on those doors and doing a circle prospecting campaign, right? Because some people won't be home, but that doesn't mean that you give up, right? It's a campaign that takes that one deal that you work so hard for and turns it into 2 deals over the course of the next 12 months and 10 deals over the course of the next 3 years.
I want to add something here. Do you guys also see, so like Gagan, I'm just using you as an example, talking about, your buyers or going after buyers or sellers. It doesn't have to be your listing or even your fellow agents here,
Right.
whatever part of the market you're in. Banana Realty just sold a house that got 32 offers on it, right? We know there's 31 other competitive buyers looking in that neighborhood right now, right? Who's doing the marketing to that neighborhood? Very few agents. Are you guys seeing the simple talk track to that? Here's what I would be doing. Okay. So Banana Realty, an agent sells X house. It just sells. It's a marketplace. I want to work. It's in high demand, right? We know that because of what's happening, right? And what just happened. I can simply call that listing agent, ask them how many offers they got, right? I now have that information. I can turn around and I can now use that for my social media post, for my door knocking campaign, for my calling, for my text drop, for my voice drop. You guys feeling me? I can now leverage the crap out of that no matter who did that deal.
It's the power of leverage. And that's why you guys hear me screaming, like when people share a testimonial, it's like, I want to take that testimonial. Donna Huber came on our breakfast club the other morning, about a week ago, and she was talking about how she took up property that was on the market for 118 days, sold it in 11 for $15,000 above asking price. And what I'm thinking is, yoink, I'm going to take that, right? And I'm going to leverage that testimonial as a testimonial of what's going on in the marketplace, right? So it doesn't have to be your testimonial. It's a testimonial of the market, right? And you want those testimonials because you also don't want to lie to people and just create a bullshit testimonial. But leveraging other people's testimonials is fine because it doesn't have to be you. It's a testimony of the market, not necessarily you as an agent, if that makes sense. And that's really kind of the urgency that we're trying to create here, is what's going on in the marketplace, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to everybody on this call?
And
Makes sense, Chloe.
Absolutely.
a couple more bullets for you guys that I want everyone to write down, because this is how you find what's going to be the most effective, right? So everything we're talking about right now, I just posted in there an example of a social media post, right? You'll notice that it's very, what I'm telling with you guys, it needs to be short. So take it, whether it's a text that's going out or what's outside of a video, what could I just be putting out there as a message even onto social media, right? And leveraging the exposure of that. It's got to be short. It's got to be direct. It's got to be specific, right? So it's not just, hey, this happened over here. It's, there's 31 buyers right now looking in Finn Hill. You guys get what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
Specific, it's direct, okay? And it's going to do two things for you. This is where you're going to get the most activity is you need to be, you should be targeting the areas that you work, right? Targeting that activity, targeting where you have the most audiences, looking at what you're doing, where you have the biggest client base. You should be targeting those areas, right? That's where you should be emphasizing your message, and it needs to be specific. Give them a specific community or city, something along those lines. You're always going to get a higher return than just generic, right? Here's what we're getting in the marketplace. The more specific you can be to where you're at, the better. And it's going to get people to respond to you, right? Shelly, if you reference Smoky Point, right? Or if you specifically talk about Finn Hill, or you specifically talk about Kirkland or whatever you're referencing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Your hottest,
Go ahead.
your hottest clients are always going to do better with a video. So when you're taking inventory of the data that you have right now of people who are on the fence, right? If you can tailor that to that person's neighborhood, to that person's city, to that person's community, that's going to be a big deal. So if I'm a real estate agent right now, and I know that I've got, 10 people who are on the fence, right? Whether to list now or in spring or whatever, they're still in the decision-making process. I'm going to make a personal video to all of those clients, and I'm going to send it to them either via text or social media and just say, hey, Jason Schaefer, it's Cooley. Listen, I know that we've talked about putting your house on the market. I know that things have to be right for you financially, and you're really concerned about the time. I just saw 3 properties in Tacoma, right, go on the market, and they were gone within a week. All of them multiple offers, all of them sold above asking price. So I want to get together with you and go over exactly what that might look like for you. When can you make time for me? Right? I'm going to take that 2 minutes that it takes to put that just raw video out to them. And that 2 minutes that you take to actually do that to your hottest clients, guys, realistically, what's the reward for that? $15,000, $20,000 commission check, right? A new client that you can provide great service to that will turn into 10 over the course of the next 5 years. Like, the fact that we're willing to go out there and do these extra things, it's going to be the reason why we get the business and everybody else doesn't, right, Michelle?
And the second emphasis I wanted to add, those of you that are like, well, again, I don't have any listings right now, or whatever it is. I don't care if you're brand new and this is your first week in real estate, right? You need to show and inform the people that see you that you're in the game, right? It's making you look good. It's showing that you're active. It's showing activity in the marketplace. Communicate and share what's going on in your marketplace. Some of you guys maybe are outside of where a lot of these guys are that are here on this call and that are here on this activity. Go see what's going on in the hottest pockets of your market where you work, and that's what you should be communicating, right? So regardless if you're doing the deals or, again, you're brand new, you're showing and informing people what is going on, and you're showing them that you have active clients. You're showing them that you know the activity. This is what creates the engagement. Go ahead. I saw a few.
I just have a really quick question. Maybe not to find where we find those multiple offers, would it make sense to go on your MLS and look at something that was like on the market 2 days before it went under contract? Because obviously you're going to have multiples. It's going to be a short time frame. It's not going to be something that's been on the market a long time. Call those agents, see which ones had multiples, decide the neighborhood you want, right? Is that I want to make sure it's not a waste of my time. Is that kind of a way to do it?
It's super easy approach. You're watching what's going on. You see something that sold really quick, just quick, literally 10-second call to the listing agent.
Yeah. Or even going on the MLS and knowing that something sold in days, right, is also a testimonial that provides your sellers with the confidence that if they put their house on the market, it's not going to sit there, right? That if they make a plan again, right, especially for those expired listings, that if they make another plan again, that the likelihood that they're going to achieve that plan is going to be really high, right? So it doesn't even have to be above asking price or anything. It could be about the swiftness in which it sells. Hey, I just noticed that 10 properties that recently came on the market all went under contract within a week. Do you know what that means? Right? It means that the market is back in the advantage of the seller in a major way. And so if you're still considering moving to Hawaii, either now or 6 months from now, it's a good time for us to talk. What day can we meet? Tuesday at 6 or would 7 work better? Right? Does that answer your question, Crystal?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. Anybody else have any questions? Not one question. I love it. That means we're thorough or boring, one or the two. It's one of those two things, and I'm okay with either one.
Now,
But
one question.
yes. Did I hear somebody say I have a question or not one
No,
question?
you said not one question.
Oh, okay, perfect. So guys, again, I just want to put the emphasis on if you're not out there telling your sellers that the market is returned, they don't know. Again, I want to say that one more time. If you're not out there telling people about what's going on in the market, they don't know. They're trapped in 2 months ago, 3 months ago. That's where they're at right now. And so that should excite you and inspire you to go out there and put in a little bit extra every single day, right? To get out in front of these people and actually share that message because they genuinely don't know. And typically one of the biggest reasons why agents don't make phone calls is because they're like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to bother them. I don't want to harass them. Now, finally, you have the opportunity to go out there and spread a positive message to somebody and have a real impact in a good way, not bothering them, but giving them a powerful update. That should inspire you to actually take your prospecting plan, prospecting, and adding to that every single day. So the 3 action items or the couple of action items that I want all of you guys to implement this week. And I know that I've gotten down on you guys in the past for not implementing. I'm not going to do that today. I want to make sure that all of us understand the power that we've got right now and that we make a plan to implement over everything. Michelle, action item number 1.
Number 1, I want all of you guys to call 10 people a day for the next week.
10 people a day for the next week. Okay. 10 people a day for the next week with that positive message of what's going on in the marketplace. Okay. 10 people a day, that puts you in a position where you're making 50 a week, right, Michelle? That's going to put you in a great position to win. And again, while everybody else is dealing with those 1 or 2 listings that popped up because of the market, okay, you're actually starting to build your business and you're going to leverage this shift as a springboard to put you in a position that you never have to look back on. So action item number 1, 10 calls a day, tracking sheets in. Michelle?
Action item number 2, send an additional 10 texts a day for the next week.
Send an additional 10 text messages and take that script, guys. You can do a big text campaign or you can break it down to just 10 a day. Okay. Take that text script, either use it or make it your own, either one, but send out those 10 text messages a day. That's 10 calls per day. That's 10 texts per day. That's a total of 20 people that you're reaching every single day. Michelle, step number 3.
100 over the next week, right? And number 3, make a video today and get it out there.
Make a video today. Somebody has a listing appointment. I can't, I'm too busy. Somebody's got to go see a buyer. I can't, I'm too busy. The beautiful thing that Crystal Delaney was saying about these videos is they are better when they're actually genuine, when they're not scripted. When you're in front of your open house or when you're in front of your listing appointment and you put that camera up and say, hey guys, there's some crazy things happening in the market right now. What we're seeing are multiple offers and homes going above asking price right now. Let them know what's going on in the market. Give them a call to action. Just a simple 30-second video, guys, that's going to go a long way. Okay. How many of you guys are afraid of being on social media?
Me.
Okay.
I'm
Now,
not.
I'm probably
hate it.
well, Malaya, check this out. Was that Malaya?
Yes, sir. It was.
Malaya, you have the gift of a beautiful face. I don't have that luxury, right? I have a hard enough time with my jawline, okay? I don't got one of those, right? So for me to put myself in front of the camera every day, because I despise social media, is a real big thing for me. But you guys see me taking out those videos every single day. And I don't like to do it. It makes me really uncomfortable. but I do it anyway because I see the value in it, right? And so Malaya, it's just one of those things that you got to get consistent with that's going to make it easier for you to do, because a video that used to take me 45 minutes to do, I now do it in 2 minutes right before I start my day. And I actually kind of enjoy it right now. I hate the sound of my own voice. I hate my face. And everybody else has those same insecurities that you do, but we do it anyway because it's valuable, and other people don't see you the same way that you see yourself sometimes. You have to realize that. You know what I mean?
Yes,
All right. So I'm going to see that video from you today.
absolutely.
All right. Atta girl. Anybody else? I saw Mario's face when I said, hey, you have a pretty face. And Mario's like, oh, here he goes. Go ahead, Michelle.
Nope, that's our 3 action items. So we're gonna wrap
right.
with
Everybody
Perfect.
follow each other.
yes.
Yeah, follow each other on Instagram. But the market is back in a big way. And we have 2 choices here. We can sit back and we can watch everybody else go out there and take advantage of it, get lost in those 1 or 2 deals, or we can make that plan of action, implement, and use it as a springboard to get going. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm in the real estate industry, not to take part, but to take over, right? And take over, providing the best service for our clients, but also making sure that we're building the kind of lifestyles that we want to live. And you can do that if you don't get caught up in just that one-off activity. One-off activity won't get you what you want. It's the massive action that separates you from everybody else. So guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for joining. I love your faces. Jamie, smile a little bit. There you go. All right, now we can end the meeting. Let's go.
Call blitz on the 8th. Send that out.
Oh,
Thanks.
call blitz on the 8th.
Thanks.
MK, can you announce that real quick, please?
Yeah, Michelle's gonna send it out, but we're gonna be here on the 8th over here in Maple Valley. We are gonna do a call blitz. I'm gonna have 3 loan officers, probably 4 on the spot. So if you need to have anybody get pre-approved, we can now do soft credit pulls. So as soon as you get somebody on the phone, they want to do a soft credit pull, hand the phone over. I'll have 4 loan officers there to start pre-approving people on the spot.
And you guys know that I won't be there, right? But I'm going to be there via Zoom. Okay. We did this last time and MK and I got us into a little bit of a battle. I won because MK cheated. But I mean, MK, between the 2 of us, I think we set like 60 appointments or something like that on our own, which is great. So we had people jump in from other marketplaces on the Zoom. We had people there in person. It was a lot of fun. We got competitive. We're ringing the bell. It's a great time, guys, and it's a great way to get together. MK, what's the date on that again?
The 8th.
The 8th.
We'll post it everywhere into all the chats, get it out to all of you guys and all the details. There's just a quick flyer on it that I put in the chat. So watch for it today. We'll push it out. We had so much fun. I don't know, MK, we might have done this like 6 months ago, maybe longer. I don't know what it was, but
It was fun. I'll have libations, coffee, whatever you guys want. It'll be fun.
Yeah, bring yourself, bring a guest, but let's fuck shit up, shall we?
yes.
Yes, sir.
All right,
All
bye
right, let's
guys.
go.
Orientation,
All right.
come back, log right back on. if you guys are
Bye.
here. See you guys.
Thank you.